The grand wedding hall buzzed with whispers. Some were about the wealth of the groom, Ethan Hayes, a powerful CEO known for his sharp business mind and colder heart. Others gossiped about the bride, the mysterious young woman no one had seen clearly. Her veil was drawn low, hiding her face completely. Ethan clenched his jaw as he stood at the altar. His family had pressured him into this arranged marriage for business ties, convincing him it was the right move for the empire. But when he had asked why the bride refused to show her face until the ceremony, the only answer he got was silence. She must be ugly, Ethan thought bitterly. They tricked me into this. Anger burned in his chest as the priest began the vows. He had built an empire with his intelligence and power, yet here he was, being forced into a marriage with a woman who couldn't even show herself. When the words, "You may now kiss the bride," echoed, Ethan's hands trembled. He reached for her veil with disdain, bracing himself for disappointment. The moment the lace lifted, his heart froze. The hall gasped. She was beautiful. Not the polished, shallow beauty he was used to seeing at corporate parties, but something deeper. Her eyes sparkled with kindness. Her face glowed with quiet strength. There was no arrogance, no greed, just grace. Ethan felt his chest tighten. He had been wrong. Later that night, away from the crowd, he asked her the question that had haunted him all day. Why did you hide yourself? Why the veil? Her voice was calm, almost serene. Because I didn't want to be chosen for my face. I wanted to be seen for who I am. I know your world, Ethan. It's full of people who smile for power, who love for money. I didn't want to be another mask in your life. If you would have rejected me, I'd rather it be because of who you thought I was, not just how I looked. Her words cut deeper than any boardroom battle he had ever faced. For the first time, Ethan saw the emptiness of his life, surrounded by people who wanted his wealth but not his heart. In the weeks that followed, he noticed the little things about her. How she treated the household staff with respect. How she spent time volunteering at shelters without telling anyone. How she laughed with children as if the world itself was lighter when she smiled. And slowly, Ethan's cold heart began to thaw. One evening, he found her cooking for an elderly neighbor, even though she didn't have to. Watching her ladle soup into a bowl with gentle care, Ethan felt something stir inside him, something foreign yet warm. "Why do you do all this?" he asked quietly. She looked up, smiling softly. "Because kindness is the only thing that lasts. Power fades, money slips away, but the way you make someone feel, that stays forever." That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. He realized that she wasn't the one who had been hiding behind a veil all along. It was him. His pride, his ego, his wealth, they had blinded him. And now, for the first time, he wanted to live differently. The transformation wasn't instant, but it was real. Ethan started visiting the shelters with her. He began listening instead of commanding, and with every small act of kindness, he felt lighter, freer. Months later, at a corporate event, one of his rivals whispered mockingly, "So Ethan, was she worth it? That ugly bride of yours?" Ethan smiled, a genuine, unguarded smile. "She's the best thing that ever happened to me. She taught me that beauty isn't what the eyes see, but what the heart feels. And trust me, I see more clearly now than ever before." The rival sneered and turned away. But Ethan didn't care. He looked across the room at his wife, laughing with a child she had just picked up from the orphanage fundraiser. His heart whispered the truth he once resisted. He hadn't been tricked. He had been blessed. Because when he lifted that veil, it wasn't just her face he saw, it was the life he never knew he needed. His bride stood opposite him, head lowered, face hidden completely beneath a heavy white veil. Ethan's thoughts were sharp and bitter. "They've tricked me. My family forced me into this. Why won't she show her face? What are they hiding from me?" The priest's voice echoed, "Do you, Ethan Hayes, take this woman?" "I do," Ethan muttered. His tone clipped. "And do you, bride, take this man?" A soft, clear voice answered from beneath the veil. "I do." Moments later, the priest smiled. "You may now lift the veil." Ethan's hand trembled with both anger and dread. The guests leaned forward, waiting for the scandal. He took a sharp breath and lifted it, and froze. The hall fell silent. The woman before him was breathtaking. Her eyes, clear and kind, met his with calm strength. She wasn't just beautiful. She radiated something far rarer. Dignity, warmth. Ethan's world shifted. He quickly masked his surprise, but inside, his heart stumbled. That night, after the reception, Ethan confronted her. "Why the veil?" he demanded. What were you hiding from me? From everyone. She looked at him, unflinching. I wasn't hiding, I was waiting. I wanted to be seen not for my face, but for who I am. If you married me only for beauty, then this marriage would mean nothing. Her words pierced him like an arrow. Ethan had spent years surrounded by people who wanted his wealth, his power, his name, but not him. And now here was a woman who valued none of that. He didn't know how to respond, so he turned away in silence. Days passed. Ethan expected his new wife to enjoy luxury, to shop endlessly, to bask in being a CEO's wife. But instead, she surprised him. She greeted the household staff by name. She cooked meals herself and invited the maids to eat at the same table. On weekends, she disappeared for hours. Ethan thought she was avoiding him, until one day he followed her. He found her at a homeless shelter, ladling soup into bowls, her sleeves rolled up, laughter on her lips as she spoke to the children. Ethan stood frozen in the doorway. No cameras, no publicity. Just her choosing kindness. Later that evening, he asked softly, "Why do you spend your time there?" She smiled gently. "Because kindness is the only thing worth leaving behind. Money fades. Power changes hands. But love stays in the hearts of people long after we're gone." Her words echoed in his mind that night, louder than any business deal he had ever won. The weeks turned into months. Ethan began noticing small things. How she left encouraging notes on his desk before tough meetings. How she stayed awake with him on long nights, even if she said nothing. Just her presence was enough. And for the first time in years, Ethan felt seen, not as a CEO, not as a bank account, but as a man. One evening, while hosting a fundraiser, one of his business rivals sneered. "So Ethan, that mysterious bride of yours, wasn't she supposed to be some trick, an ugly one?" "I heard." Ethan looked at the man, then glanced across the room where his wife was kneeling beside a little girl from the orphanage, gently tying her shoelaces. He smiled, a real unguarded smile, no trick. "She's the most beautiful thing in my life. She showed me what real wealth is, and it has nothing to do with money." The rival scoffed and walked away, but Ethan didn't care. His gaze remained on her, the woman who had walked into his life hidden by a veil, only to reveal the greatest truth he had ever known. Months later, on their anniversary, Ethan held her hands and whispered, "I thought I was the powerful one. But you changed me. You showed me what it means to live with kindness. When I lifted that veil, I thought I saw your face, but now I realize I saw my own soul for the first time." She smiled, her eyes shining. "And that's the beauty I fell in love with." Together, they laughed as the night air wrapped around them, not as CEO and wife, but as two hearts finally unmasked.